To the Birds vs. Boys Fantasy Football Mock Draft 3.0. I'd say this is the biggest week for fantasy football drafts approaching Labor Day weekend. Probably the biggest weekend for it because the rosters are set, the trades are done. We know injury knowledge for the most part going into week one. When you hear this, it'll be a week from football season. All we have to do at this point is draft and take the field. So we're going to take you through one last mock draft so that you are ready for the season ahead. Again, I'm with Eddie and Vince. We are going to do 10 rounds of our mock draft. We're going to extend it a little bit. We're 8 rounds, half draft. We're going to do 10 rounds this time. Fill it a little bit more for you. And we are going to do 12 team this time. Our first was 10, our second was 12, and now we're going to do 12 again. So we'll try to give a little bit more variety, different draft positions, and just different draft strategies tonight. Boys, are you ready tonight?
I'm so ready.
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right. So we don't even know yet what our draft position is going to be. I think that's great because you're going to be finding out your order on the fly as well. So I think it's important kind of, learning on the fly. Let's see what we got.
Oh, Vince is one.
Nice. Am I on the clock? Oh, I am.
No,
All
you
right.
got like 10 seconds to wait.
It starts in 10 seconds. All right.
Yeah. All right.
I think
so this
pretty
is
good.
actually great because we have some serious variety again. Vince is 1, Eddie's 4, and I am all the way down at 10. So you're gonna see 3 different strategies right away.
All
All
right.
right. This is
Vince,
pretty
where
easy. I'm
we
going to
start?
lock this in quickly.
Yeah, that feels easy. At 4,
it
this
easy?
this feels easy at 4. This feels really easy at 4.
That's also, 1, 2, and 3 minute, very easy for you.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. Also, I just want to on record. I hate being a 10. I think being 8 through 11, like being 12 has its benefits because you get that double. That middle 7 through 11 this year, it's not fun. Like I can sell myself on the first 6 guys. Najee Harris at 7, I like him a lot. Then Dalvin Cook, yeah. Derrick Henry, I'm sorry, like I just can't do it. And then you just look at the guys that I have right now. So you've got Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, DeAndre Swift, and Saquon Barkley as the guys. Don't love that. Don't love it. We'll
Don't
see what
love
we
any of
got
them.
at the wide receiver position.
You could be
I really
lunatic
think I'm
if
just going to
it's
go
healthy.
Stephon Diggs here and just trust the Bills' offense.
I don't hate that.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep it. You know what? I'm going to keep it. I'm going to say consistent for myself as if everyone watching this has seen me draft in my drafts personally, as if that's a thing, but it's not. But I'm going to go Deebo Samuel, so I'm going to go back-to-back wide receivers here to start.
I like it.
I
like
also
it a
think
lot.
we're like too low on Debo. Like everyone's so high on Brandon Ayuk, and it's like you can be high on him, but just remember just like what Debo does after the catch. Just remember it. It's like taxes. Don't forget about it.
It's like even if he takes a step back from last year, it's still like incredible.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Eddie, you are back.
I am, and I just want to point out, Aiden, you and me both have made a pretty big deal about tight ends doing these mock
Yes.
drafts.
Mhm.
Travis Kelce went 12. Mark Andrews went 6 in the second round, and I kind of feel like I'm almost forced to take one of the lesser tight ends right away because I'm a little scared, but
No, you're
I'm not going to.
Yeah, you don't
Not
have to do
going
that
You're
at
gonna
all.
skip.
I'm going to skip a tight end. I'm going to go Aaron
Okay.
Jones. Get a running back. I took Justin Jefferson. Let me get a running back.
So
Try
I
to
like
get two
Aaron
in a row.
Jones and AJ Dillon. It's a combination of like who someone has to touch the ball in Green Bay.
Right, exactly.
I get 2 in a row.
You do. This is important.
This is big. What are you thinking?
All right, I went running back early,
Yep.
but I get 2 in a row here, so it doesn't really matter.
I hope he messes up, Aiden.
I do. I know. You're at a point where there's a lot of good options, which can
Yeah.
backfire on you.
Oh, yeah. Too many good
I-
options is worse than all bad options, in my
I don't
Yeah.
know if anything on earth could convince me to take Leonard Fournette.
I don't hate him because I think he gets pass catching volume now.
All right, I'm gonna do this. I don't love it.
Don't let
but
me
I think I
influence
have to do it.
Oh, wow.
All I know.
Canceled.
Tyreek Hill.
Canceled.
I mean, I don't. Yeah.
Sorry. I know I just made fun of you for this, but I think I'm going to do this.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. And again,
Kyle Pitts?
Kyle Pitts.
now I'm once again terrified that I need to draft a tight end.
Yeah, and then you get back here. Well, so Leonard Fournette goes right after we just talked about it. So he goes round 3, pick 2. I think if you got Leonard Fournette at round 3, pick 2, like you're okay. James Conner round 3, pick 3, you're like, okay, fine.
Mhm.
You know, it's like an accounting job. It's gonna pay well, but there's nothing really exciting about it. So
Right.
Eddie, you're back on the clock, and you're back with the tight end dilemma.
I am. So tight ends, we got George Kittle, Darren Waller, Dalton Schultz, Dallas Goddard. That's really kind of where the list starts to drop off, like we talked about last time.
It does.
You might be able to slip Hawkinson in there a little bit, but I still think there's a decent gap
But
between
How
these guys and the rest.
How much of a drop off is it? 3 points a week? 5 points a week?
I don't know. Who knows? What I do know is
Is that you
I'm
have
gonna,
5 seconds?
You have 5 seconds.
I'm gonna take Darren Waller. I'm skipping George Kittle. I'm going Darren Waller.
There we go. All right. Here's the problem with me being so far back. We got a lot of catching up to do. So
Right.
Josh Allen, first quarterback off the board after you go. Zeke Elliott, T. Higgins, Keenan Allen, and AJ Brown. I like T. Higgins a lot, so I'm a little bit disappointed about that. So that kind of sucks. But everything else, I think I'm like okay with. You know,
Yeah.
I'll survive. So Eddie, I think I'm going to do the same thing as you. I think I'm going to have to pull the trigger, but I'm okay with this. This is a player who average draft position is 40. So sitting at pick 10 or like round 3, pick 10, like slightly a reach, but not really. The next average draft position of a tight end is 57 in Dalton Schultz. And this guy's just fun to root for. Yeah, he'll probably get hurt. That's because he plays like a maniac. So I'm just going to take George Kittle.
I like that. Smart. That's smart.
It's one of those things like if it backfires, it's still fun. Like I'll still enjoy that. Like that won't be, you know, I won't hate my life.
I just
All right.
learned a whole lot about you. And when you're always like, why do these things always happen to me? And then you're in situations like this, you're like, it may be terrible, but it's gonna be fun.
It's the quote from The Office where it was like, right, Jim, that was a good idea. He's like, I didn't say it was a good idea. I said it was a fun idea. That probably shouldn't be your strategy in fantasy football, but that's where we're at right now. So I'm back on the clock. Gabe Davis went off the board in round 3, which really should tell you something. I was getting him in middle rounds for a long, long time. Now you have to take him at the end of round 3. That should really tell you something.
That's
Josh
so-
Allen. Josh Allen power.
Yes, I was about to say. So I'm going to actually go with quarterback here, and I'm going to go with my guy, Justin Herbert. If you go
Wow.
Lamar Jackson in that situation, I would not hate you. I think that's a great pick. And now, Eddie, you are back on the clock.
Aiden's my guy. Everyone knows that. I do think I was about to make fun of people who draft quarterbacks here, and then Aiden just drafted a quarterback. So like, what am I supposed to do?
I have the same conundrum. You know, there's only so many guys that I like and trust on a week-to-week basis at tight end and quarterback. That's the problem. I just love too many wide receivers. I'm like, I can get him in round 10.
I get that. Mahomes goes off the board 2 picks after you. Cortland Sutton's gone. Cam Akers, DJ Moore, Dave Montgomery. I'm going Deontay Johnson. I know Pittsburgh has no quarterback, but they got to throw to somebody eventually.
Got to throw to somebody. Yeah.
I'm going to take Deontay Johnson. I'm also obsessed with drafting wide receivers.
Yep.
all right.
Vince, you got your double up right here for the end of round 4 and the beginning of round 5.
I sure do. So we're pick 48, right?
Correct.
This is who
I'm
am I
not that
not
good at
reaching?
math, but we're at 48.
It says it in the top right. I'm not that good at math.
It does say in the
there
top
you
right.
go.
Did not
Yeah.
see that till right now.
I was going to say, I've been following the little log there that says 4.10, 4.11.
I've been making guesses.
I'm not
Like,
gonna
I-
let I'm not gonna let buys sway my judgment here, so I'm going Jalen Waddle.
You can't let buys
No.
determine it.
No, buys. To be I just want to point out Vince has 4 players and they have the same buy, 2 weeks buys. Week 14 and week 11 for all
I
4
sure
guys.
did. It's a
Yeah.
good thing this is a mock draft.
Yeah, I was about to say. Good thing you won't be seeing this team in week 11.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. I think
All
we have
right,
to
let's
go-
start us off for round 5 here.
I think we have to go running back here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going AJ Dillon.
You're a bad
Best
person.
players on the
You're
best.
just a bad person. You're a bad person.
You're just a bad person.
You're just a bad person.
But I honestly like that's fine. You know,
His bye is also week 14.
I wanted to get AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones. Put it together.
I did that in my one league. I think that's a fantastic handcuff. That if you are into the handcuff strategy, those are the guys to do it
Mhm.
because it's an actual handcuff. They're both going to get usage. It's not a
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison situation.
I was gonna say it's not even like a hang. You can just start them both.
Yeah,
They're both good too. That's
they're both play. Yeah.
right.
All right, Eddie, at pick 504. What are we thinking here?
So I considered quarterback just because I love Lamar Jackson. I don't think he's going to make it out of this round. But I am going to stick with my core belief system and draft another wide receiver, which is Brandon Cooks.
My core belief system. And there you go. Lamar Jackson comes off right
told
after
you.
Brandon Cooks. Now, this is where I didn't like being at the back, but not all the way at the back. Two guys go off the board that I really like, Elijah Mitchell and Ramondre Stevenson. So let's see what else we got here. I think I'm going to do it. He is the talk of the town. You know, when there's like a new kid in school and like everyone's talking about them and they seem so cool because they're just new and you've been seeing the same people for the last 12 years of your life. Just when somebody new comes in, you're like, that's the coolest person who ever lived. That would be Damian Pierce. Marlon
You
Mack
are
was cut.
obsessed.
I said he'd be the best running back in the draft this year. He is now RB1 already for the Texans. He is now RB1 on my fantasy team here.
I do want to make a point. Aiden is not lying. I just uploaded the TikTok about talking about this past year's draft to the Birds vs. Boys YouTube. He was talking with Damian Pierce in that TikTok months ago as one of the steals of the draft.
It's just something about him, the way he runs the football. You're like, that is a running back. That's it. That's
That's
what I
a
want.
man right there.
He's this year's Evan McPherson for us.
There
I
you
love
go.
Evan McPherson too. So
There you go. All right, I'm back on the clock, and I am back to my old tricks, and that is finding value in receivers in the middle rounds. There are 3 out of the 4 guys on my screen I really like. So they're suggesting Darnell Mooney, Michael Thomas, Chris Godwin, Rashad Bateman. The injury doesn't really bother me with Chris Godwin because the back half he's playing with Tom Brady in an offense that's going to be really good. Michael Thomas, I think, is going to get a lot of usage, but I'm going Rashad Bateman because he is wide receiver 1 for the Ravens. The other guy, for the record, was Darnell Mooney. I am staying away from the Bears completely. There's nothing appealing about the Bears if you were playing fantasy. I'm sorry. I know someone has to catch the ball,
Might be okay.
but do they? Does somebody on the Bears have to catch the ball? Or will it fly into the third row for half the season?
Come on, man.
No, it's not even like a Justin Fields thing. It's just an inept organization thing.
That's fair. That's
It's
really
like-
fair.
If the choice between Rashad Bateman and Darnell Mooney, you might as well take the only receiver on the better team. with the better
Exactly.
quarterback.
It's the same logic, but with a better quarterback. Sorry to steal all your time, Eddie, but that needed
That's
to be
okay.
said to warn the people. I feel
It's
like
okay.
Paul Revere. The Bears are coming.
So pick 69. Nice.
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 I don't want to, but I don't like my other options. I'm going quarterback. I'm going to take Jalen Hurts. It is what it is.
Like it's 2 a.m. at the bar, brother.
Yep.
I don't like
Yep.
this, but
You know it.
I don't have better
Uh-huh.
options. All right. End of round 6, Vince. What are you thinking?
I hate drafting running backs, so I think I'm going to go with Eddie's belief system here.
Oh, I love that belief system.
I love how we all have the same belief system, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to undo all that advice I just gave on your pick and take Darnell Mooney. Also,
That
as a
is
bye week
insane.
14.
I
Yeah.
just warned you. That
Dude,
is
Aiden-
a mom telling a toddler, don't put your hand on the stove. It's going to be hot and it's going to hurt your hand. And them saying, okay, I won't. And then immediately smacking their hand on the stove.
Aiden, what
But
I need
I'm
you to
also
do,
on the board. I'm also on the clock again. And
Yeah.
I'm going to also take Brandon Ayuk. So
Okay.
I have
Okay.
a pretty good option of flex.
Aiden, in the top left, drop down to Vince's team and just look at the buys. Just look at the buys.
I said from the top, I'm not paying attention to the buys.
It's just crazy, man. That's all I'm saying. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Okay.
at least Brandon Ayuk was a 9.
Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, there you go.
He'll be my only starter.
Be a fun game.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm looking for my last running back. I don't love the guys here. Like I said, I wanted to take AJ Dillon, but Vince stole that from me. I'm going to go Chase Edmonds. I don't want to go Chase Edmonds because I don't want to draft any of these running backs, but I'm going to.
Eddie, your last few picks, you've just been like, I don't like this guy, but I'm going to have to take him because I don't have any other options.
That's what drafting number 4 gets you, guys.
I was about to say that kind of is the, although I really like the middle rounds right now. All right.
I like the middle rounds. I don't like the middle draft picks, like the position.
That's true. Yes, that is true. Being smack dab in that little sandwich in the middle is not fun. Being the lettuce in the sandwich isn't fun.
No one
you want
wants
to be the
lettuce.
bread or you want to be the meat.
Even the cheese would be cool.
Even the cheese would be all right. Yeah, correct. All right, so I am also going to go running back, and I see a guy that I like. He was actually RB1 over the last 4 weeks of the season last year and doesn't have a ton of competition for carries. I think long-term he's not the option where he is. But for now, it worked for me. I'm going to go Rashad Penny up in Seattle.
That's another one of those things where it's like, what else?
Yeah.
Well, it's just like you're now at this point, you're just like when you're in your draft and you're in round 7 through 9, think about who the starters are. Like that's what you should be doing. It's like just think of volume. Like somebody has to touch the ball in some of these places, aside from the Chicago Bears. This logic applies to 31 teams. And Rashad Penny is going to get carries on the Seahawks. All right, so I'm going to play it safe here. And I don't even know if this is safe. I think this might just be smart. A lot of people are actually high on this team. New coaching staff coming from the Rams. That's why we're excited about Justin Jefferson being wide receiver 1. Well, Adam Thielen is still Kirk Cousins' guy. So I'm going to take him here. They've got that connection in the red zone. I'm very okay with that in round 8.
Eddie shared an article with us today that might explain why Adam Thielen's still his guy.
Oh, one of those things.
We don't have to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, listen, we know what Kirk Cousins' dad's been up to.
Listen, I don't want to get into Kirk Cousins territory. You know my thoughts on Kirk Cousins. So I think this season, I think out of principle, I'm going to stay away from Cleveland teams, give them a little punishment for their actions as of late.
It's a karma thing.
It's a karma thing.
It's bad karma.
I'm trying to go back to back this year, boys. I don't need that bad karma. You know what I mean? What I do need, and Aiden's going to hate this because it's an Atlanta Falcon, but what I do need, I think I've taken every single one of these mock drafts. I need Cordell Patterson in my damn life.
I don't hate that. I like him a lot, and I just, like you said, it's a team where someone has to touch the ball, and he can touch the ball in a variety of ways. So don't hate that pick, especially in round 8.
Yeah, new quarterback too, so they might use him more than they probably want to early on.
And neither have a strong arm. So screen game. Yep.
So I realized why both my receivers have the same bye, and it is because I took both of Miami's wide receivers.
Yeah,
in the top 2.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. But what we need to do now is running back. I've heard this team wants to run the ball more, even though they shouldn't, but they still might. So I'm going Devin Singletary.
They definitely shouldn't.
It's one of those things where it's like someone has to carry it at some point that's not Josh Allen. Well, just like to save his life.
Well, the thought process is Brian Daboll was trusted enough to just be like, do whatever you want to do, and he wanted to throw the ball. I forget who the new offensive coordinator is, but Sean McDermott probably doesn't trust him as much as Brian Daboll. So
that's fair.
They'll probably be running the ball a little bit more.
That's fair.
I probably should go running back again. I don't have a quarterback.
You don't.
Yeah, that does help.
You can have Trey Lance or Kirk Cousins. Bang. Full circle.
True. Well, I was about to say, it's like a comedian show.
You know what I'm going to do? I did this on one of our TikToks. I wanted Jalen Hurts, so I'm going to take Jalen Hurts and take Trey Lance.
Right.
It's the same guy.
I was about to say, it's like if you don't get Jalen Hurts, but you want the Jalen Hurts potential from last year, you go Trey Lance.
Yeah.
It's like guy who isn't great at throwing, so he will run a lot.
Yep.
Exactly.
You just got to live with the picks. At least Trey Lance got like a cannon. They tell me he's got an arm like you read about. I don't believe it yet, but that's what they tell me.
That's what they tell you.
All right, so let me just real quick. How many? Oh, I'm on Vince's team. I want to know how many wide receivers I have.
Pick 100 overall.
You know what? That's a great point. We're going to draft Christian Kirk because the motto of this show, who else are they going to throw the ball to?
Yeah, I was about to say that is the strategy so far. All right, so my 2 picks are going to come right here. I've got my last 2. Just looking at my roster, I have 2 running backs so far. So if you're at this point and you have 2 running backs, you got to be saying to yourself, all right, what do you like that's available? They're suggesting Melvin Gordon, Kenneth Walker, Darrell Henderson, and Michael Carter. Of those 4, I think Michael Carter would be the one. He was named RB1, so you think to yourself, that'd be great. But I think Breece Hall is still going to get a ton of work. So I'm back dipping in the wide receiver pool. Just get a ton of depth there and see what you can do. Here's a guy that it's just one of those things where you like the offense, so you draft him, and that's Tyler Boyd in Cincinnati. You know, like if there's an injury to T. Higgins or Jamar Chase, even if there's not, he's still catching balls from Joe Burrow. Right. And now for my last pick, let's see what we got here. Again, don't love the running backs right now, unless you're like, yeah, James Cook will take over the Buffalo backfield by week 5. And if you believe that, then go with that. I don't know. And I also think like Josh Allen is just like Cam Newton in Auburn, where it's just like, okay, he's the best option in the red zone. Mm-hmm. So I'm going back to my wide receiver pool. Let's see what we got. I don't really love the options here either, to be honest with you. What they're suggesting. I think I might just like take the flyer on this one and take a rookie. Because I was thinking about Jarvis Landry and just doing that song and dance, but I think I'll just take the chance on Jahan Dotson in Washington.
Okay.
Eddie, your last pick.
Yeah, and a bunch of wide receivers just came off the board too.
Yeah. Jarvis Landry right after that. Michael Gallup, that's an interesting one. He could be back, and then that makes it very interesting.
Okay, so let's just look here. I think I can pretty much go anywhere, in my opinion, here is what I'm looking at. That's what my roster is telling me. Do what your heart desires is what's screaming at me right now. And you know what that means, boys. We're going with a wide receiver. He's got a great quarterback. And that's all that really matters at this point.
I was about to say, sometimes that's all that matters.
Valdes-Scantling, please.
All right. Kyle Pitts gives me a lot of wiggle room in the receiver department. So I think I might go running back here again just to stock up in case A.J. Dillon and Devin Singletary don't pan out.
Very good chance.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go Darrell Henderson just because take good guys on good teams. It's pretty easy.
Fair enough. And I don't know if they're like sold on Cam Akers yet. Like, yeah. I think they want to be, but also like he tore his Achilles. All right.
It's the end of 10.
End of time.
End of the time here. All right. Let's take a look at the draft board. What we have so far and our final thoughts before we sign off.
Okay.
I'm pretty happy.
Vince, I was about to say, Vince, I'll let you go first because you're in that interesting position where it's a 12-team league. You drafted first, and then you waited a while. How did you feel after you waited?
Not great. I knew I was going to go receiver, obviously, because unless you get one of those top 3 running backs, there's really no point in drafting a running back in the first 2 rounds. So I knew I was going receiver there. I was too early to go Debo. Debo went before me. I'm looking at it backward. I wanted Debo in the second round. He went before. I would have loved CD or Mike Evans, but I'm left with not my favorite pick in the world. But then look at that gap after that. It was him or T. Higgins. So Keenan
And then,
Allen would have been fine, but he's too old. You need him on the field.
Yeah. And then you double that and go back with Kyle Pitts. So I feel like your first 4 selections, Jonathan Taylor, Tyreek Hill, Kyle Pitts, Jalen Waddle, having to wait around a while, you did all right, you know? Like, you should be fine with that.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I guess I could have gone not Jalen Waddle and not paired 2 guys on the same team. But I guess who's going to be Terry? Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah, I was going to say Jalen Waddle, I mean, over 100 receptions as a rookie.
Yeah.
You can't really – if you're looking for volume, there you go.
And the Mike McDaniel offense is going to do a lot for him too.
That too. Yep. Eddie, we talked about this in both of the drafts that we've done. If you take Justin Jefferson as number 1 overall, not wide receiver 1, number 1 overall, we're okay with it. You got him at 1. I'm assuming 4. You're feeling pretty good. Or yeah, you got him at 4.
Yeah, I feel great. I think at 1, you definitely have to consider Jonathan Taylor. I think at 2, it's Justin Jefferson. I think 2 is easily Justin Jefferson. I think at 1, you can make the argument. And I think most people would lean Jonathan Taylor, which is maybe at the end of the season will be the right choice. But I think Justin Jefferson is going to have a great year.
Yeah, like if McCaffrey's healthy, he's just a statistical anomaly in fantasy football because they throw him the ball so much. And there really isn't a competent backup running back there. Yeah. But that's a huge if. So that I get. But the Austin Eckler thing, I just can't take Austin Eckler over Justin Jefferson when Austin Eckler is coming out and saying, I would not like the same workload as I had last year. And everything on the Vikings camp is like, we are going to increase Justin Jefferson's workload this year.
And Justin Jefferson is like, I hope they do it more than they've already done it. Like in practice.
Correct.
Like, he wants more.
He's like, yeah, I led the league or I have the most receiving yards for a player in the first 2 years of their career. And now I'd like more workload.
Right.
Like that is just fantasy magic right there. It's just
with a coordinator who can like produce actual offense, unlike Mike Zimmer,
who produced wide receiver 1 last year in Cooper Kupp. So again, Jonathan Taylor, yes. Christian McCaffrey, you can sell me on it. You can't sell me on taking Austin Eckler over Justin Jefferson or even Cooper Kupp. I can't see it. Anything else in your draft that sticks out?
Drafting 4 isn't the best feeling. I really like we said it the entire time. I don't think it's like any breaking news here, but you want to draft early or you want to draft late. It's tough being in the middle. Even though I did get Justin Jefferson, it's just the rest of the draft. It's fine, but it's not ideal in my opinion.
I think it's like in a burger at Applebee's.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be the best burger you ever had. It's fine.
Right, it'll get the job done.
It's ideal. It'll get the job done. Yeah. So I picked 10th. I kind of feel the same as you did, where it's like it's fine. The biggest difference being when you're in that top 6, I'm confident in the player that you're getting. Even if you're in the top 8 with Najee Harris and Dalvin Cook, you can sell me. When you're 9 through 12 in a 12-team league, you're just not getting a tier 1 player. It's kind of tough this year. It's kind of tough. It's good that I like the value of the middle rounds. I'm okay with Stephon Diggs, though. Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuel back-to-back. I don't know if people noticed, but I kind of went with the zero RB strategy. I wanted to try it out, see what it was like.
You went back-to-back Rashads.
Yeah. I did. Rashad Bateman, Rashad Penny. That is the hard-hitting analysis that we've come here for.
That is why we're here.
So just a few things with mine. Tried the zero RB strategy. I think Dameon Pierce is going to be really good. I've been saying that since he was at Florida, though. So I don't know if I'm the best person because I'm extremely biased. The tight end thing that we have talked about multiple times, the top 5 guys are off the board within 3 rounds. Yep. And then you wait and you're like, are you good on Dallas Goedert in the 6th round? Like, did you live with that? And I'm okay. Like, if you wait on Dallas Goedert, fine, but like, you better get him. Like, there's nothing else. It's Dalton Schultz, Dallas Goedert, and if you don't get him, you are in trouble.
I think with tight ends, like, if Kyle Pitts is the last one I'm taking. Like, if I'm not getting Kyle Pitts in the 3rd round, I'm waiting until, like, Dawson Knox, like, TJ Hawkinson. Like, I'm waiting a long time.
True. I agree. Like it's those 5 or busts for me. You could sell me on Dallas Goedert, Dalton Schultz, like we said, but like it's just so hard to do is this the year for TJ Hawkinson dance? It's like how many years can you take of that?
I don't care if
it's
the year.
kind of almost like liking the Lions themselves. I mean, like, is this the year for the Detroit Lions?
He'll get me 9 to 10 points. That's really all.
I don't know if he will.
Will he though? Like that's the thing is like you're inching and crawling and scraping towards 9 points.
No, I think you're looking like 3, 4, 5 points a week from TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that there's going to be those
do it.
Like in half point PPR, there's going to be those 4.5 point weeks where you're just like, please catch a pass for 7 yards and just get me something. And there's just too many weeks of that with too many tight ends are like that. And just it's just the song and dance that you can't do.
I want to point out when it comes to tight ends real quick. The first 2 mocks we did, I took Mark Andrews in the second round thinking that I had to. Mm-hmm. In the second round, the computer takes Mark Andrews. So you're getting Mark Andrews in the second round, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, whether it's artificial or it's humans. Mark Andrews is going in the second round.
Yeah, no, I think if you don't have, like we've said, like Aiden said, and even Vince agreed with it, and he has a Raiders hat on. If you don't get one of the top 5 guys within the first 3 rounds, you're screwed.
Basically, we'll leave it at this of the tight end conversation. Mm-hmm. When the person takes Travis Kelce, perk up.
Yep.
Start paying attention. Put your drink down. It is time. It is the meme of the guy playing the video games and he has the controller in his hand and he sits up. It is time. When Travis Kelce goes off the board, perk up.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll leave with the tight ends. The rest of my roster, I love Justin Herbert. Again, if you took Lamar Jackson there, cool. And then my last strategy that I continue to preach to everybody is you look at my rounds 6 through 10, throw it at the wall and hope it sticks with receivers. That's all you can do in fantasy. Load up on them. Every draft is a crapshoot. Part of it is luck, but you can control your own luck sometimes. You only need 1 or 2 of these guys to break. If you take 6 of them, your chances increase. That's how every draft should go. So
yeah, you're going to be dropping half of these guys for like a replacement kicker when yours on by. So like it just take swings. Someone's going on IR. Someone's going to be terrible. Like just draft anybody.
Except if Adam Thielen sprains his ankle week 2 again, like he did last year, if Tyler Boyd becomes minute in the Bengals offense because Jamar Chase is just next level. If Jahad Dotson, just isn't there yet as a rookie, none of that matters if Rashad Bateman just becomes wide receiver 1 for the Ravens.
Right.
But you could do that with all of those guys. Say Jamar Chase gets hurt, Tyler Boyd goes off, but like none of that matters. Just all you need is 1 or 2 of those guys to go off and you're fine. Especially like where I went with Debo and Stephon Diggs at the beginning, then you have a clear flex and you're set every week. So throw it at the wall, get as many wide receivers as you can. And I think that's my last tip for everybody. Do you guys got anything else?
No, it's just fantastic fantasy advice. It's just like draft anybody. Do whatever you want.
No. Yeah. Listen. No. Not anybody. 31 teams, not the Bears.
Nope. Or
top 5
30 teams, 30 teams, not the Browns or the Bears.
It's true. That karma-wise, that's
right,
different.
Karma-wise. You want to win the league, so you can't take any,
Correct. Also, have you seen Jacoby Brissett play? It's not fun.
I have seen Jacoby Brissett play. Actually.
As a Patriots fan, yes, you have.
Yeah,
and
I have.
Is it fun? Do you like what? Do you like the pending on that?
Listen, I think he won us like 1 or 2 games. I'm not mad at him.
Okay, 1 or 2.
Listen,
you got him for 11. So I think that's our strategy. Bunch of wide receivers. Don't be afraid to go in on tight end early. There's quarterbacks that we like in the middle, not even middle, rounds 4 to 5 that you could take. Jalen Hurts is, what did we say? Like the girl at the bar at 2 a.m. And Trey Lance is probably Jalen Hurts last year, where he is a fantasy anomaly, not good in real life, but good in fantasy because they run a lot.
Yeah. If you take Trey Lance, maybe take Jimmy G keep him on the bench, see what happens.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Round
never know.
15, you might want to take a look at that.
I don't hate it.
Look at Team 12.
Did they do it to us again?
No, it might be the worst fantasy team I've ever seen.
That's a bad team.
Travis Kelce, DeAndre
But
Swift,
keep
you
that
don't
in
like
mind.
start?
Like, not a lot of those are insane draft choices by him. It's I say him, it's a computer. But hopefully, like if you're pick 12, you could be in some trouble. Like, I don't know. I just don't like being 9 through 12 this year, to be honest with you.
Grease
rather be at the front.
commissioner, don't get pick 12.
I
Yeah.
think you can be 12. You just can't draft like this guy drafted.
Yeah, I was about to say going tight end first is a little rough.
It's tough.
When I said perk up when you draft a tight end, I didn't mean because they picked up a tight end in the first round.
I was
especially
thinking like
because-
the second or third pick in the second round was going to take Travis Kelce, not the last pick in the first round.
Correct. Yeah.
It could have easily gone Debo or Devontae and then Travis Kelce, and it would have looked a lot better.
Or literally both.
I was about to say, just like not having a receiver on your roster until Gabe Davis is like a tough pill to swallow.
That he's
It's
got
like
the
Jerry
long loop
Jeudy.
after that too.
Yeah, it's just like every team's wide receiver too. I'm sorry, like even Garrett Wilson, who's probably behind Elijah Moore in the target list. It's just really hard. And when DeAndre Hopkins comes back, Marquise Hollywood Brown's probably wide receiver 2. It's like just filling your roster with a bunch of wide receiver 2 guys and not having a wide receiver 1 is tough for me to buy. But again, that's a computer and we don't have to care. So that's a wrap on Mock Draft 3.0. Last weekend before the season, so a lot of people doing your drafts. Check it out before you draft. And then don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be back with the full episodes later this week.